This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
I got it in at the end. I did. It's like crap.
I'm like,
Crap.
Where are new picks?
I know. Okay. Remind me, hey, schmuck. And I tell people this, and I've told you this before as well. Anytime I tell people to send me an email that begins with, hey, schmuck, it means that I've spoken to them. And this way it reminds me that it's something I need to get on. And it's not some stupid email. So send me an email, hey, schmuck, when you get the time. And providing that you have power, and we'll talk about that in a minute, providing you have power and availability to your computer, it will be something that will be done. But I do have 2 weeks to do it. So hopefully, hey, schmuck will get my attention. We'll do it. But I did get the picture up at the end because it is Holmes, Kevlar Prom Dress Heidi, and Angria Trask was over there as well. And this is Captain Jack Presents Silver and Black Ladies Night with the ladies of the nation, the wonderful ladies that have forgotten more than you know on purpose about the Raiders and football. So if you think you know something, you definitely do not. So I turn it over to Miss Peggy and Miss Heidi. Ladies, go at it.
Well, how are you, Heidi and Captain? And I just wanted to get this thing rolling right off the bat. Just give me your assessment. 2 takeaways that you had from Sunday's game. We've had 3 games now. What do you see?
I would say that Josh McDaniels has to go, and Josh McDaniels has to go.
Oh my God! And we always have to do the repeat, Captain. 2 takeaways from Sunday's game. You were there.
2 takeaways from the game that I saw personally, yes, which was the 3rd game that I saw personally. 2 takeaways. Darren Waller needs to refund everybody that was in the stadium, a portion of his contract for the one touchdown drop, the one first down drop, and the interception that he caused. Now, if he did something else, I might not have seen it because I was in the food line at the beginning of the third quarter. But he definitely needs to refund money from that huge contract that I saw. And then, oh, by the way, Keelan Cole, you need to give everybody at least $50 out of your contract because I'm not sure he's making as much because he had 3
Bounce
jobs.
right off his hands in the
Yeah.
end zone. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Second takeaway.
Second takeaway. And this might not be popular with and I'm sorry that your face is covered some, Peggy, but I did have it on the screen where the ladies are in the back. That's not a takeaway.
Okay.
We can still see your awesome smile down there as well. Oh, and
It's
by the way,
beautiful too.
yeah, I
Thank
was going to
you.
say, see, there you go. I see. I'll cover it. So
No, we're still working on that second takeaway, and you need to do your hurricane announcement. Don't forget.
Okay, the second takeaway is, and this is the one that might not be popular, especially with what Heidi said with the 3 things or the 2 things that she said. For all of you that are thinking that Josh McDaniels is going to be fired within the next 48 hours or before a hurricane hits Florida, which is going to be within the next 3.
I don't think that.
If you're waiting for that, you might want to, I don't know, hold your water for at least 6 months because it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, and following up on that, Captain, my first takeaway is, number one, how could you not expect more out of a coach, a 6-time Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator who knows how to win, and then on top of that has studied at the foot of Bill Belichick, and we'll get into the dead branches of his coaching tree later. But nevertheless, that's been in a very organized winning system for 20 years. I'm sorry, he ain't no rookie. I expected a lot more. My second takeaway is that the team has not yet bought into or been sold on what Josh McDaniels is trying to do. And I'm seeing that in their play. I'm seeing it reflected in those 2, count them 2, Heidi, delay of game penalties. 3rd game of the season, I'm like, why are you delaying the game? What's going on the sidelines? Oh, and let me also throw in for the 3rd, even though I'm going to ask myself, Captain Heidi, you're playing the Tennessee Titans. You're the defensive coordinator. You're now trying to write up a game plan. Who's the first person that you absolutely, positively have to stop?
Derrick Henry.
Which they did.
Oh, excuse me.
In the second half.
No. Better look. And I'm glad you asked that because I got the stats right here. Derrick Henry,
85 yards.
85 yards, 4.3 average. Okay?
Excuse me, the Captain. Let's expand our vision to him gashing our defense in the first half. It opened up play action. You see, this is the key.
Overall, though, I said if you keep Derrick Henry, and I know it wasn't on our show, honey, but it was on mine. I said if you keep Derrick Henry at or below the century mark, that will be and should be a game the Raiders win. He was at 85 yards. Okay. And yes, he gashed us because the longest game was 24 yards.
We go in at halftime.
Yeah.
After the defense has given up 24 points. Many of those points off of play action passes because Henry was gashing us. I mean, absolutely running on top of us. Now, give Graham credit. He corrected it in the second half. By that time, we were already in the hole. It changed our game plan. It changed the plays we called. It changed our approach in the second half because now we were down 14 points.
I disagree with this, Sharif. You hold Henry to below a century, you've done your job.
That's fine, but you see, whatever you did in the second half, why weren't you doing it play 1? What was stopping you? Different personnel? The sun wasn't the correct position in the sky? You're doing that coming out of the gate. Because like I said, and Heidi, please come in on me. The things that Henry did to us, help me out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he started it off. He's the one that set the tone for the game. And
Correct.
like you said, it opened up the play action, which allowed them to run up the score and score 24 points in the first half. Now, defense did pitch a shutout in the second half.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. But where was it in the first half?
I mean, I don't understand. Why wasn't it there in the beginning? Wasn't that in the game plan? Shut down Derrick Henry. You did it in the second half with the same personnel. Why not the first half? When we really lost the game then, right? One of the reasons we lost the game was we started out in a hole. But let's go to our grading. And
Peggy, before we do that, I do want to recognize
hurricane announcement.
I want to do the hurricane announcement, but I do want to recognize the violator, the Hall of Fame.
Wayne.
The Hall of Fame violator has put his forth, and I think he kind of agrees with me. I don't think Coach gets fired, but it seems like either the players aren't buying in or he's lost the locker room. I can see both of that. And but Bishop said that word in Vegas is that he's on thin ice. So, what's thin ice? And
thin ice is what I just described.
Right.
I don't think it's this thin. I don't think it's this thin, but it is thin. Davis is not happy.
Oh, he's not.
I'm like with Davis. I expected a lot more. We did not hire a rookie coach. We did not hire a first-time head coach. We hired a guy with 20 years experience in the most successful football program in the league. And I'm not. A lot of people aren't feeling it, Captain. Now make your hurricane announcement, because I hate to just go black on everybody. Well, we're gonna just go black.
They'll think my camera went out.
Okay. Well, yeah. Oh, so Heidi's already blaming her camera issues on my hurricane. I get it.
I get it. Okay. Hi, Jerry.
Yeah. For those that don't know, I am about 3 to 5 hours from Hurricane Ian hitting landmass here in Florida. We're getting the outer band rains here, so it's and Bob. By the way, what Salt Mir says is moving towards him, and he's over there in Cape Coral. So everybody keep prayers for Cape Coral, Fort Myers, in that area, because it's moving that way. The last track that I saw though was, and again, you can chime in on that, had the eye going right over my house.
Oh no.
And if that's true, there's going to be a lot of there's a big possibility of damage. And I want people to be safe. I am hunkered down. I do have gasoline for my generator, and I did download the directions for the generator because I bought it 16 years ago after Hurricane Charlie, and I've never had to use it. And I'm hoping I still don't have to use it, and then I will put the gas, the 20 gallons of gas that I have, and put it back into my truck in a couple days, because, or actually maybe at the end of hurricane season, because it's non-ethanol gas, so it'll stick for a while. But anyway, if the screen goes out, it's not me saying I don't agree with what the ladies say, because I agree a lot with what the ladies say. It's not me pushing a button like I did before on a Wild Wild West broadcast, and I clicked the whole show. It's not me doing that. It's Mother Nature and Hurricane Ian contributing to the fact that I lost power. So if it goes down, please don't be pissed off at me. Don't be pissed off at the ladies. We will get back with you as soon as possible. And if I still have power, then join me at 11 o'clock Eastern for a NFL Nation live show immediately on after this. See, I worked my hurricane announcement and a preview.
I like that. Very smooth transition there.
I'm smooth, baby. I'm smooth.
But now we want to get the audience
baby.
involved, Heidi. We want to get the audience involved in our regular segment of grade each each unit, offense, defense, special teams, and then coaching. And Heidi, you got to start me off because you always level me and make me put me in my place. So let's start with your assessment, the grade, and audience. We want to hear your grades too. Let's start with offense.
Offense. Overall,
yes. 4 quarters, not 2, contrary to what the Raiders believe. It is a 4-quarter game.
I'll give them a D+. 1 for 12 on third down conversions and 2 for 6 in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Captain, offense. What grade?
You gave him a plus?
She gave him plus?
They did score 22 points.
They did.
I'll give them that.
They almost won at the end. Like the hole that the defense put them in. But let's hear your grade, Cap.
I'm just gonna. I'm. You know what? Yeah. That you're being very kind, Heidi. I'm gonna give it. I'm not gonna fail them because of the 22 that they did score, and they were an errant pass away from tying it up with the 2-point conversion. But I'm just saying a solid D. A solid D. A solid D, which they haven't had in all 4 games. Oh my God!
No!
A solid D. I even figured it when I said it. A solid D.
Captain, we got to acknowledge our audience's grades. I see a few C's in there. Thank you, Violator. And that's the grade I'm going to give them because they did try to come back. And we will discuss later why that was fruitless. We have a few D's there. Ooh, Bishop gives him a D-. Ooh.
Well, he's
the Violator's always positive. Wayne's always positive. He's always up there. So
and there's a reason why we are 2 grades below an A, but let's go right to the defense. Captain.
No, wait a second. What did you give him, Peggy? I'm sorry, I missed that. I apologize.
I give him a C, like I'm with the Violator. C. And Captain,
if you broke it down to first half and second half, maybe it would translate to a C. With the second half being like an F and then a B-, maybe it would be. But I can't do it. Like I have to just overall D. So
there's so many anomalies in this Tennessee game. But later on, I'm going to link it right up with the Cardinal game as well. Same problems I saw in the Cardinal game, I also saw in the Tennessee game. But Captain, we're ready to go to defense.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
The audience and I love everyone's coming out with a C for that offense. But now, Captain, defense.
Oh, good.
Your heroes.
My heroes down. My heroes on D. I would say my heroes on D is Max Crosby and Jerron Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate Hobbs.
And Nate Hobbs prior to him getting hurt.
Yeah.
And I can't really think. Okay, let me rephrase as well.
We're waiting for a grade, actually. We want you to grade it. You know I'm going to ask you.
You're killing me. Teachers. You're killing me, balls.
Teachers, give me a grade for defense.
I'll go solid C on that one.
You'll go solid C.
Yeah.
And Heidi?
I go C- because they did let the game get away from them in the first half, but they did shut them down in the second half. So I've got to give them credit for that. Chandler Jones, I'm just going to start calling him Warren Sapp from here on out.
Ooh. God, I would. Oh,
Max Crosby got his motor running. He is there all the time. He is always on the ball. He's always pestering the quarterback. He's always doing what he's supposed to do. Already said I
He'd
was happy
already
with
had.
Nate Hobbs, Deron
Mhm.
Harmon, 22nd interception of his career, first as a Raider. Came at the perfect time. The Raiders just couldn't capitalize on that
Mhm.
gift that was given to them. They were at the 31-yard line and they did nothing with it except lose yardage.
Mhm. And that goes back to a lot of things which we will discuss. And I'm also going to give the defense a C, mainly because they figured it out. They made the halftime adjustment. Derrick Henry was no longer a factor. And for all those people that are talking about Derrick got his bell rung by Hobbs, I kept looking and scanning through the Tennessee papers and everything for a concussion protocol. There was no concussion protocol for Henry. Henry just got shut down. Now, whatever adjustments had to be made, because whatever they put in first did nothing, zero, to stop Henry. For that, I give them a C. And
hey,
now,
Peggy, I'm sorry, I got it. Only because I got to interject. Spencer Scroggins is a friend of mine, Navy shipmate, who is a Denver fan. So that is what that comment is about, the Josh tornado effect. I had to explain it, and only because I know where it was coming from, and I apologize for stepping on you, but I had to get it out.
and guys, later on, I'm going to stop all this hero worship of Max Crosby to talk about the whole D line and the fact that we ain't going to make it with one sack a game. Okay,
Yep.
Now let's go to special teams. Heidi, what grade do you give them? I need a special teams grade.
I'll give them a solid B plus.
Any reason why they don't get an A for practically winning the game single-handedly?
They didn't completely shut down the kickoffs.
Yeah, I did see that. There were a few runbacks.
But other than that, I give them a solid B plus. The kicking battery is solid as it gets in the league.
Mhm.
I was about to say Shane Leckler. Yeah.
I
AJ
know.
Cole. AJ Cole keeps us in the games, repeatedly week after week. And Carlson is the leading scorer in the league. So
he is our red zone offense captain.
Yeah.
What do you give the special teams units?
B. Like I said, the kicking game is wonderful. And Cole is, by the way, the punter Cole, not the wide receiver Cole. The punter Cole said hi to me, so that's the reason why they get a B as well.
I know it. He's a really nice guy.
He's a good guy. Always effervescent and positive. I would say again, B. The kicking is great as far as the actual kicking per se. Teams. Still got to work on teams a bit, but the kickers are the top three. You got the holder, the snapper, and the kicker for both. They're the best in the league in my estimation, and why that they would be taken away. It should be Cole and Carlson for the Pro Bowl based upon the last three games. But the bad thing is that when we are talking about how great our kicking game is and how great our kicker is. And I don't want to talk about how great our kicker is because that means we're not scoring touchdowns.
We'll get to that, and of course, I'm giving the special teams an A, just because I know they're our offense. We don't have them. We have shaky, misses, one or two misses. We get zero out of our red zone trips. Okay, so I'm very happy about these guys at the moment. I'm hoping to decrease their importance. Now we come to the biggest discussion of the night.
Oh, God, do we even have to go there?
And we got to talk about coaching. And I want 2 points before we go to the wider coaching issue. But I'm going to talk about overall coaching. Captain, what grade do you give them? And I want 2 points only because we have a lot to cover under our coach.
D, and that's being nice. Coaching overall, D. I still say, hey, McDaniels, you were brought in as that offensive genius and you still haven't figured out that there is a running game that you're not employing.
Amen.
But you have to have an offensive line for that, and we'll get to that. But go
Well,
ahead.
No, let's do my point on that now. The offensive line, other than Illuminor jumping, and Illuminor played a better
Twice at
Illuminor
the goal line. Go ahead.
Illuminor played a better right guard than Cotton did. Okay.
Okay.
And Bars played a hell of a better left guard than Simpson did. So I like that as far as their effort there. Now Illuminor needs to stop jumping off sides or missing the count on that. That was the
getting driven all the way back into the quarterback. But go ahead.
Who?
You didn't see our guards getting driven back into Derek Carr?
I honestly can say I saw the play.
Oh my God.
I would say that Bars and Illuminor played better than Simpson and Cotton. Because remember,
okay, I'll buy that.
I'm watching the whole thing, and I don't have the benefit of a TV. I still have yet to see a Raider game on TV aside from the 30 seconds. No, I haven't. I haven't had time. I haven't had time to watch an actual Raider game when I come home because I got other stuff to do. And I still haven't seen, other than like the 30 seconds that somebody told me when I was on TV, and I did that thing. I haven't seen a Raider game. I still haven't.
Heidi, you need to record those games and ship them to Chap Jack.
I got them on. I got them recorded. I haven't had a chance to watch them.
Then you shall see the delight.
Well, some of us still accidentally have NFL Plus because the NFL just never realized I'm not paying for it this year. Oops.
Oops.
Did I say that?
Now you're outed, Heidi.
Heidi,
we need to go on to Heidi now for
these
her.
Are not the gentlemen you're looking for. Move along. You know.
That's right. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Do not pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
There you go. That's right.
And Edward, we will get to talking about Mark in a moment, but let's go to the coaching grade, Heidi, for this week, and give me 2 points why you feel they deserve that grade.
I'll give them a D because they did find the stadium.
Didn't have to use GPS either, probably.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have paid attention to it anyway. Go ahead.
No, they wouldn't have. I gotta agree with Jack. Come on, where's the running game? I mean, did not even break the century mark. Josh Jacobs had 13 carries. What was it? 66 yards on 13 carries, something like that.
Yeah, 66 and 5.1 average. I got you, honey.
And it's not because it wasn't working. They went away from the running game. I understand that the Raiders were behind. And when you're behind, you play for the pass. But the thing is, you play for the pass because the running game doesn't work. The running game was working. The coaches just went away from it. If you're getting 5.1 yards per carry, all what you need to do is run the ball twice and you get a first down. That's the way it works.
I couldn't agree with you 100%. But you see, when you're down 24-10 coming out of the locker room at third quarter, running game is just maybe not on their mind. But okay, you need to give us another reason why you gave them that coach of that grade.
Because they just simply do not have the killer instinct. They are not leading it emotionally.
That's yeah.
Their men do not buy into it. They are not that. Yeah, the men don't buy into it. They're not leading them emotionally, and that might be the biggest problem of all.
Right, and Heidi, you just nailed it on the head as far as motivation skills, which is another thing that I thought he had brought in from Bill Belichick's system. You know, the ability to not only motivate your players, but I also thought he had learned from Bill how to choose the right players at the right time for the right situations, to bring them on the field, to select the right people to do the job that you need to be done. I mean, nobody game plans like Belichick. And I can't believe that 20 years in New England didn't teach McDaniel that. And I give the coaching an absolute F for the reasons that I have already said. Uh, I just can't believe these are not rookies. These are not neophytes, Captain. These are not guys that just came in off the street. This is not, what's that fool that came from Ohio State? This is not Urban Meyer. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Ouch. That hurt.
But it's not. These are guys that have been through the fire and they have performed well at a championship level on those sidelines as coaches, as game planners, as motivators. What are we missing here? And I seriously need an answer to that. What's missing? Heidi nailed, as far as I'm concerned, with the what you were saying, Heidi. Tell me what else is missing.
Who's this one to?
This is to Heidi. What else is missing? She nailed it with the lack of aggressiveness, passion, emotion. What else do you think is missing from his coaching style?
From Josh McDaniels?
Mm-hmm.
I think he doesn't believe in the players either.
That's a great insight. Well, I'd like to hear from you guys out there about what Heidi said. She said she doesn't think he trusts the players or believes in them. I mean, Captain, what's your take on what Heidi just said? I think that is critical to understanding what's missing.
She said it, and again, the Hall of Famer said it himself. The chemistry between players and coaches. Now, we knew that there was going to be a gelling process, but right now this gel is like Jell-O, and you can't, like, if you want to nail it to a wall, you can't nail Jell-O to a wall.
It's messy.
And there is no, again, Violator said it himself. You can't overlook the fact that either McDaniel talks a good game and he plays.
He plays like Bill Belichick time, where he like says with the people and doesn't really say anything in the press.
Yeah, he does that. He doesn't say anything and talks around issues, but the players are not playing for him.
No.
And if the players aren't playing for it, you see the mess that you got. And it's unfortunate because I think that the Raiders have lost by a total of 13 points in 3 games. I think it's 13, which, and again, I would say we could be 3-0. At worst, we should be 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
But we're 0-3, and we're the only team in the AFC, I believe, that's 0-3. I don't know, as I haven't had a chance to look at stuff since I've been doing all this stuff. But it's unfortunate. A team that has the capabilities to be a very good team, the people that we're saying would be of playoff caliber and contention, and they would, I don't know, they would have a hard time beating Raider Mode's not JV team, but the semi-pro team that Raider Mode plays for out in Arizona. They'd have a hard time beating Raider Mode's team, and that's unfortunate to say. And it's
and again, Captain, I wanted to pick up more on Heidi's theme there of what's missing from Josh. Besides, he does not have that team. We also shockingly don't have the offensive imagination that we thought we were getting. I mean, at certain levels, we still got problems in the red zone. I thought he was brought in to fix that. I mean, that hasn't been fixed for over 10 years. Longer than that, we can go back. The second thing he was brought in for is to use the personnel that he had. We're looking at a guy like Adams, you pay $28 million a year, and you're using him like Edelman. 2 for 12. 2 for 12 yards in the Cardinal game, 5 for 36 yards. Are they even sending him deep? I thought he was supposed to stretch the field. Josh, what are you doing? You are insulting a guy like Adams, sending him on 5-yard crossing routes. You know?
Now,
Well,
Adams was targeted 10 times.
yes.
So he was targeted as many times as Mac Hollins was.
It was the kind of plays that I'm looking at. And
Okay,
while I'm at
I'll
it,
give you that. I'll give you that for sure.
we didn't bring him in to run 5-yard routes. That's Renfro's job. Okay? Underneath, that's Waller's job. Okay? His job is to stretch the field. There's no way you can imagine Adams in any other scenario. And I get the feeling that Adams himself, and this is where it ties into you, Heidi. I mean, the players are not enjoying themselves. And let's talk about Waller. Captain.
Remember, I'm waiting on my. I figure with Waller's contract, if everybody that was there, even if we all got $10,000, it'd be chump change.
$17 million a year.
Yeah.
This guy not only drops 2 passes, which were critical, but I want to go to that touchdown in the end zone, and I watched it at least 4 times. Okay? Not only was the play design horrible, okay? Because if you look at it, there were 3 guys around him, and oh, by the way, 1 guy to catch the deflection. So that was 4 guys in the vicinity. I looked around, I said, well, who else went to the end zone in that play? Turns out nobody went to the end zone but Waller.
Are you talking about the interception or the one he dropped? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not only I cannot put that on Carr. I want to put it on Waller since he was having such a day. But when I looked at the play 3-4 times, what I saw was play design. Why are you only sending 1 guy to the end zone? Why do you allow 4 guys to converge? Why are at least 2 of those guys not being drawn out by somebody else in the end zone? Scratch. I mean, these are the things about McDaniel that's got my head scratching because I don't understand. I brought him in because he was a superior play designer.
In theory.
He knew, yeah. I mean, Heidi, didn't we think he knew what to do with his shiny new toys?
Well,
did you think he knew what he was going to do with them?
I didn't think he'd be this bad. I figured that was something that he would at least be able to get straight. I mean, that's something pretty basic. The shiny new toys that he has are the best. Some of the best shiny new toys that the league has seen in the last 20 years. I mean, the collection of players, it's astronomically bad how he isn't able to utilize them. I don't even have words for his ineptness.
Mystifying. And while we're at it, let's take a moment to praise Mac Hollins, who had Adams-like numbers, 8 catches, 158 yards. He was the only one that seemed to be able to catch Carr's balls in the second half. In particular, why are you throwing to Mac Hollins when Waller and Adams are on the field?
Well, one reason would be because one of them should be getting double teamed.
Correct. The other, you may not have had confidence in Waller by that time in the game.
Correct.
But Hollins catches the balls. He has Adams-like numbers. See, this is the part about Josh McDaniel I don't understand. Was that even in his game plan? I mean, Captain,
I didn't want to say it, but Ern caught it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad he did, because we would have been out of that game, and the game and they would have scored more than 24 points had the offense not performed in the second half, had Hollins not been there to catch the balls that Adams and Waller were not.
Yeah, and actually, that long was it like was it a fourth and long, and
Mhm.
Hollins just did that. I don't know what the type of pet, but it was like a rainbow, and he like kind of looked like the Casper. He
Right
kind
on
of
the
looked over.
sideline. Yeah,
Hardest catch in the league. Hardest catch
that's
in the
right.
league.
It was
Over
awesome.
the shoulders,
Yeah,
you
it was
know, and
awesome.
it was brilliant. But the point is, how come Waller and Adams struggle? My two I have nicknames for them. They're the platinum guys, the ones making the big bucks. This is the part of McDaniels that's just going all wrong. Things are going all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We should have Heidi, correct me. We should have the offensive firepower to overpower most of the defenses we play in. Is that a fair statement, Heidi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are we not?
Absolutely.
Why are they not even afraid of us?
Have you seen us play the first 3 games? I mean, that's why they're not afraid of us.
That speaks, Captain. Other professionals know. They know there's something terribly wrong going on with the chemistry, with the game planning, with the game design. And now I kind of wanted to talk about that defense. I mean, I know y'all are all Max Crosby favorite, but I want to talk about the defensive line. You're not going to make the playoffs with 1 sack a game.
No.
Okay?
No.
And you see, this is where we part ways with most of the Raider Nation. And all of you out there, I'm just dying to give a lecture, a John Madden lecture.
Oh, are you gonna flail your arms and everything like John would do?
I wish I had a blackboard, a whiteboard, right, like he did, and right, Heidi, with the X's and the O's.
You go, girl.
He does his little sound effects. Let us talk just 1 minute about how do sacks happen.
Well,
pressure on the inside.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was for go ahead.
Heidi?
You pressure on the inside and then you swallow them up from the side.
Thank you. Your ends don't cause sacks. Your defensive tackles do.
Mm-hmm.
Your defensive tackles also prevent the quarterback from stepping up and seeing the field. Your defensive tackles also force the quarterback to throw early or to throw errant and make mistakes. I would argue your defensive tackles cause turnovers. Now, I mean, and interceptions in particular. And if you have really good ones, they hit the quarterback and the ball goes bouncing on the ground. And they also cause fumbles in that mad rush. And wait a minute, all of this has to happen in 5 to 8 seconds. Okay? When Max gets a sack, it's a lucky break. Somebody just broke down. When you have defensive tackles that are sealing the middle and penetrating, suddenly people have to shed their blocks and they have to come off a defensive tackle, and that's when your defensive end, and that's when your ends get sacks. You are not going to make it with 1 sack a game.
And in answer to John Coblin's question, would you sign Sue and Odell to save the season?
Not Odell.
Not Odell. We don't need him on the offense. We just need the offense to come together. As far as Sue, absolutely. You need that pressure on the inside. And he can bring it.
Right. And what Sue gives you is that double team, Heidi. It's that double team, because you'd be a fool. Even if Sue was out of shape and, not really in condition, you'd still be a fool not to double team him if you're all O-line. He's going to take a guard and a center out of the equation. Guess who that leaves singled up? The other DT, right? And at least one of your defensive ends. Raider Nation doesn't understand that defenses are built from the front to the back.
And from the middle out.
Yes. Well, but mostly if what's going on in the trenches up front, games are won and lost right there. That's John Madden, pure John Madden. I mean, you absolutely have to have a pass rush in order to change these games. And until the Raiders do that, I don't believe that we'll see any different results than we've seen thus far. I'm going to make that statement now, and it's a horrible thing to say about our team. I love my boys, but they just don't respect defense. They just don't respect it. Captain, your take on the defense?
Yeah, I'd take the defense. I'd take it. What was like an old, it was like when they asked John McKay, it's like, what do you think about the execution of your offense? He says, yeah, I'm all for it. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
he would execute his offense. The defense, the defense is it's incomplete. It's incomplete. They've stepped up at times, but it's still a matter of there's no inside pressure, and we thought that we were going to be getting that with Bilal Nichols. And Hankins is another year older in the tooth, and Hankins is a run stuffer, not a pressure guy. Okay,
there you go.
We need a pressure guy up there in order to push the pocket so that the quarterback winds up in the hands of Max Crosby or Coons or to Sean Bauer, who I would play those guys more than I would Chandler Jones until Chandler Jones shows up. Now, there is people that are saying that Chandler Jones is playing within the gimmicks of what the defensive coordinator wants him to do. I don't know that. It's possible he's doing everything that Graham is telling him to do, but it's kind of like in the movie Hoosiers, where the kid kind of gets pissed off at the coach. He said, F this, I'm not passing it 6 times. I'm going to start throwing those outside shots and you go in. Yeah, he gets taken out of the game, but at least show something. At least show something to people saying, yes, I can still do this. I still want Bauer and Kuntz to play more. I think they got more gas in the tank, and I think that they would do a better job of it. You know, Max is going to do it. And save Chandler Jones and if he doesn't do it there, have him freaking rush the inside. Okay?
It still starts with the defensive tackles providing your ends with opportunity. Chandler is used to playing next to big guys that know how to move that pocket.
Well,
they don't flush anybody.
You know what?
You have to have movement of the quarterback out of the pocket. The only way you're going to get sacks is to have movement of that quarterback. Who's going to move them? The guys in the middle.
I will. Shit. I have more.
You're asking for volunteers.
I have more. Now, granted, I'd have to put on a little weight, and then I'd probably be in a box by the next week because I did drop from 310 to 250, which was good for me. But I would give more effort, with my sciatica and my knees and my ankles and all the crap that's wrong with me, and I ain't even going into my heart. I would give more effort in the middle than I've seen from these guys. And if it takes Mal and Dominic and Sue, then we need to do it.
Heidi, I mean, all this criticism of Jones tells me that people just don't understand how sacks happen.
I think that Jones really has not been playing to the best of his ability. I will say that. But the pressure needs to come from the inside. And as old as Ndamukong Suh is, he still has something left in the tank. You know, he has been someone that's always played for a check. He hasn't cared where he played. As long as he was the highest paid player, he was happy. And if he came in, he would come in because the Raiders are willing to pay for him. But what he would bring would be worth it. The Raiders have the money. Why they're not doing it, I don't know. Why they didn't bother to shore up the offensive line in the offseason, I don't know. But the defensive line is actually, it might even be more important because I still believe that defense wins championships. I know that the NFL is an offensive league and everyone believes in 5,000-yard passers, but
Mhm.
the defense wins championships. I still believe that, and I will always believe that.
And Heidi, look at the game on Sunday, Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Two of the premier passers. I mean, heads and shoulders above Carr in terms of rings and an ability to really win games with their arms. What was the final score? Tampa Bay, Green Bay.
Well, 14-12, right?
That's right. Rodgers was lucky to get out of there against that top 5 Buck defense. But what held Green Bay in the game wasn't Rodgers. It was the Green Bay defense. People don't understand. Even the greatest quarterbacks in the game have to have top defenses to win tough games. There's just not enough respect for defense in the Raider Nation, in the Raider organization, and Mark Davis doesn't have respect for defense either. And I said it right here straight out. Nobody has the respect of what a good defense can do for winning games. I just don't believe it.
And I would say that the Raiders, for this season and last season, they've had a decent linebacking core. And that's always been a weak area of theirs. But I think the even weaker is what you have been preaching for years now, Peggy, is you want that golden defensive tackle, the one that draws the double teams, the one that drives the sacks. You've been calling for that year after year after year, and it's just not come to fruition. And why?
They don't believe in it.
Yeah.
They don't believe in it. And every year we have the same discussion, Captain, about why can't we win that game? Why are we having to score 35 points to outscore the other side?
Yeah, because
Every
we're
year.
34.
Now, we have a defense, praise the Lord, that only gives up 24. At the wrong times, right, Heidi? But nevertheless, the game hasn't gotten too out of hand.
With the defense that we have, we should be winning.
Yes. Unfortunately, now the offense can't answer that phone call. To win a game for me in the fourth quarter, win a game for me in overtime, right? We don't lose in overtime at all. If Renfro doesn't fumble, we drive, we get a field goal, hopefully a touchdown.
Nah, you had it right. We'd get a few.
Why do you think I gave special teams an A? I recognize their value. But we go back to why it is that we're struggling so much as a franchise. We have no respect for defense. And until we get that respect beaten into us, we will continue to have seasons just like this one. And now I wanted to go straight to something our readers were our commenters are talking about, Mark Davis's role. You heard the word, Captain. You heard about the closed door meeting.
Yeah, and isn't it amazing that word got out? Because it was leaked to Paul Gutierrez. Paul Gutierrez couldn't find his way out of a restroom without an attendant. Okay, no, without an attendant, because or somebody there saying, "Paul, there's the door." Okay,
right.
The fact that he broke the story, nah. He said, "Hey, Paul, I know you work for BSPN, but we want you to put this out."
Exactly.
Boom. Here's your story right there. There would have been so much about. Nobody would have known that Mark Davis had a closed door meeting with me. I mean, before the time with the press, that's done a lot. But hey, Paul, I got something for you. We are going to have a CTJ meeting with, and if you don't know what that is, ask Peggy or Bishop, because they'll tell you what CTJ stands for. and we're going to have it before the press briefing. That was planted. So yeah, Mark Davis is pissed, and there's a reason why. What's going to become of it, I don't know. But for all those that are waiting for things to happen, you got to remember, okay? And I know the pluses and minuses. He's in Vegas. He's got this money. He's got to make a product. But Mark is also the same guy that goes to P.F. Chang's and Hooters. Okay. And yeah, it's for the wings.
Chicken wings.
Yeah. Well, what with different types of wings. But he's cheap. He's cheap. But he's got money, but he's still cheap. And he does not want to pay whatever that. And I don't know what that. Somebody can probably put it in the comments. Find out what the contract was for Josh McDaniels, how many years, and for what amount. Because whatever that is money that has to be paid out.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be paid out. And Mark Davis does not want to pay out that contract and whoever he would hire. At least not as of right now. Unless there's somebody named Vito or Guido that's going to hey, Mark, here's a couple million for you. Get your effing coach out of here.
Now, Heidi, give me your take on that closed door meeting.
My take on it is, I mean, what Mark Davis said was true. It is BS. It's absolutely true. As far as it being planted or the news getting out, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure that the reason that it got out was because somebody wanted it to get out. But I think Davis is really, really ticked off.
Okay.
I think he's more ticked off than you give him credit for. And I know that you think that he's ticked off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Raiders till death thinks he has 3 years. I don't think so.
No, because once again, I must point out, we ain't talking about a newbie. Somebody got promoted, after 2 years of being a coordinator. As I said, Heidi, we're talking about somebody who's been in a winning system. We thought he was way up on the learning curve and that all he needed to do was tinker with a few parts and he'd make the Raider machine run right. Captain, this just didn't happen. Not only hasn't it happened, but the players aren't sure. The players. I think that's what got Mark to call that meeting. It's the way the players are responding. This is not at all what we expected. I mean, I just can't tell you how disappointing it is to see Carr out there really so confused that he's letting the clock run down. When's the last time you saw Carr allow a delay of game penalty?
I can answer that question. It was Sunday.
Oh,
outside of this season, how often? I mean, he has been in command of the offense for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years. Even before Gruden, he still knew what was going on. That was the one thing that Carr does have. He has it going on between the ears.
Mm-hmm.
He might not be that elite quarterback.
No.
In fact, he probably is not that elite quarterback.
No, Sri Khan thinks that Carr is that elite quarterback. Bishop AJ thinks he's that elite quarterback. I know those are two people.
But I don't need elite. Remember, Super Bowls were won with the likes of a Dilfer. But we digress.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. What did the Ravens do? The Ravens did that with a championship defense.
Correct.
Trent Dilfer and his car lots and everything, he was out there game managing, but he was able to win because he had that defense, the defense that isn't respected. But Josh McDaniels does not have the respect of the players. He does not trust his players, and the players do not trust him. And Mark Davis is ticked off. He is not happy with what he sees. He did not see this happening this year. This is not the results that he was expecting at all.
And Captain,
yes, dear.
If you go back to the days of Al Davis and Heidi, you too, I mean, what was the one thing that would get Al going. Why Shanahan got booted out so quickly after he was here. Al does not allow the mistreatment of his players. And I don't think Mark either. I don't think Mark does either. Once he sees his players not doing well, guys that were functioning properly, now all of a sudden confused, that'll get it started. But did you see something else in that meeting? What if you were a fly on the wall? What would you speculate could have even been said?
Well, actually, I did talk to my buddy Myron G. Fly, who gives this stuff to me on the Lolo, and he said, and Myron kind of talks like this, so I got to try to infer. But what Myron said, Myron the Fly, come on, give me a break here. He said that Davis went up to McDaniel and said, and it was stated, and I don't, probably the person that said it in the comments said it as well. It says Gruden started 0-3, but he didn't have a playoff caliber team with some of the best players in football on that team. When you and I mouthed it because I don't want to say it.
That's all right. We do sign language.
We do sign language.
We understand. We understand.
Yeah. I have been giving a team with all of the variables you need. Carr might not be a top 10 quarterback, but he's good enough with this cast. And you are it up. Get yo together, or I will take that contract and shove it up and wipe it. Because I think that he might be showing some of the balls that you don't got no marbles. Well, I think he might be showing it, and he's probably doing that to put a fire under McDaniels to either get with the program or do something in order to get the players to play for you. Because if the players aren't going to play for you, he's going to be shown the door like Shanarat. And I really think it's more of a play. He's emulating. He's doing his best thespian routine because he really doesn't want to crap can him this year, but he wants to do something to get the team to play better because he wants the team to play up to their potential. He wants to keep McDaniels as the coach. And he doesn't want to pay for another coach. And there were people that are saying, I'd love to have Sean Payton in here. Could you imagine Sean Payton with this team?
Well, I imagined a lot of things when Gruden came back. I imagined still more when Jack Del Rio was here. I imagined a lot of things, okay, with all the coaches for the last 20 years. I'm from Missouri. I don't believe nobody coming in there. I don't care if it was BB himself, okay? At this point, I don't trust anybody here with Raiderland because they don't respect defense. I don't think you do anything. And Heidi, I mean, I'm going to put that question to you. You're a fly on the wall. What do you think Mark Midas might have said to McDaniel this early, 3 games into the season?
I think my little birdie was hanging out with Captain Jack's little fly, and they were discussing what they heard, and they were discussing that's probably what was said.
Mm-hmm. Just what
the expletives not said. Well,
without saying that.
The expletives were said, but they weren't mouthed. They were said.
Yeah, they were said. And I agree. I mean, Gruden did go 0-3, but he did not have the supporting cast that McDaniels has.
No, he did not.
And let's even go back to in NFL history to a coach who I've always admired, the great Joe Gibbs. If you'll recall his first year, right? He starts 0-5. The lynch mobs were standing out on the street, right? Where did y'all get this guy? Send him back where he came from. That team ended up 8-8. They finally got it. and they won 8 games. But the whole point is, after that, he won a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
You see, if you're
But
going
when
to
Joe
give,
Gibbs came back, he wasn't that
well,
successful.
no, second
And
time
that's why
around,
he's in NASCAR. He figured out that that's the place to be.
yeah, the second time around works for no one.
Yeah.
Okay, but we still talk about a guy. We're still talking about a guy, and I don't even think McDaniels realized how heavily reliant his offense was on that great New England defense. I don't think he realizes how much his game planning fed off the ability of the defense to keep people out of the end zone, to not put them in a hole. I mean, I think I can count on one hand, and I went to the New England fans and I made them feel fine. How many games in the last 10 years has New England, not including since when Brady was there, did you all start 20, 14, 17, 20 points in the hole? How many games? I don't think he's had to coach out of many of those. Not while in New England. And now he's here. And he picked the defensive coordinator, who I might say, Heidi, I don't know. The jury's still out with me and Graham.
Yeah, definitely.
I
I
don't
know his reputation precedes him as being a much better coach than what he's put out on the field so far.
Yeah.
Well, he's got it. In his defense, he is light years ahead of Paulie G.
Well, that's not saying much.
No,
Really,
that is
Paulie
saying
G.
but that's why I had to say it. He's light years ahead of Paulie G, and he's a nuclear aircraft carrier in speed ahead of what's his nose that we let go to the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, well,
Gus Bradley. Yeah,
Gus Bradley. I mean,
yeah.
I just don't know what to think about it, except if Graham is not coming from the same place I am about the importance of having a penetrating, smoking D-line, then he don't know nothing about what he's doing either. I mean, I can't believe that he's just going to be satisfied with not doing anything about those two, something about one or both of those defensive tackles. How can he? I mean, but I will give him credit. I do like what he did second half Tennessee game.
Who?
Graham.
Okay.
Graham.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
My criticism is of Graham, of course, why weren't you doing it first quarter? You had the same people on the field. Didn't he not? Right? I mean, everybody's like silent. Yeah. Did he not have the same personnel on the field first quarter?
I think that they were body snatched, in the first quarter. And then they
It wasn't me.
Did they get confused with the cheerleaders again?
Yeah,
the Raiderettes were out there.
Yeah, the Raiders. Actually, and I was looking. I'm the Tennessee Titan cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of talent,
and they're not as feminine looking as I know you gentlemen like them to look.
Yeah,
but
actually, I will say this though: their best cheerleader, the one that could dance the best, was the skinny black dude that was in front of me in the fourth quarter. And I kid you not. I kid you not. That dude he was on the broadcast, like for the pictures for the tight. I was wondering, like, I know that they had guys. That guy could dance, and he had everything, and he was their best cheerleader. And I said that is not a crack on anybody saying, but he was their best cheerleader, and I give him that. I
want to swing just another way, since we talked the first hour about the Raiders. I wanted to swing around to the NFL. Ha, surprise. Give me your surprise team of the year so far.
Ooh.
Heidi?
Miami Dolphins.
Damn it!
It's okay to have the same pick. But
Yeah.
now,
No.
what surprises you about Miami? The division that they're in? What surprises you?
Just that they've been able to win and the way
Yeah.
they've been able to.
I think maybe, are you talking about Tua? You think his play is definitely improved?
No,
Oh,
no.
his play is
The acquisition of Tyreek Hill, maybe? I mean, it
He's-
wasn't a bad offense down there to begin with. Go ahead.
the cheetah has helped. The cheetah has helped them cheat. The
Yes.
cheetah has helped. I will give
A
them that. But Waddell is he is
He was their number one.
he is an
Mhm.
adorable gold mine. I
Yes,
mean,
it is. Surprising. And of course, Gasecki, the tight end, is
mhm.
he still down there? I think
Yes,
he
he
is.
is. He was there. He was
Yes.
their entire offense in the preseason game. I saw him.
Yeah. I mean, she says Miami's been a problem. And then, of course, begrudgingly, we got to give credit to the coaching. Brand new head
Mhm.
coach down there, right?
Oh, what's his last name?
Excuse me. Is that a florist too?
No.
What is he?
Who's the coach in Miami? What's his last name?
I forgot, man. He came out of San Francisco. He was the offensive coordinator for San Francisco.
McDaniel.
Oh my God. Oh, McDaniel. Is that with or without an S?
I don't know, but it's close enough that I'm going to be making sure that people know that it's like we got bushwhacked.
I know. And who knew? Who knew that the guy coming out of a Kyle Shanahan program?
Who looks like he's 12 years old, by the way.
He does. He has a little nice little crew cut and everything. He's so cute.
No,
lucky
not
one,
the Miami coach.
Miami, that's what I said. He's cute.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
Mike
Shanahan.
McDaniel. Yeah.
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 And Captain, your surprise team of the year.
I'm gonna do what, and it's
Thank you,
true.
Mike Sarah.
I was gonna say Mike Sarah and Matthew 72007 have good picks. I would say them as well, but I'm also gonna say Philadelphia.
Yes. Sirianni's doing a good job. And I told them, Eagle fans, y'all need to be patient with Jalen Hurts. And they laughed at me.
I'm not as surprised. I'm not as surprised with the Eagles. And
Oh,
that's probably
interesting.
why, because of Hurts. I remember last year I said that I was not ready to write their season off immediately, like most Eagles fans were willing to do at the start.
Mhm.
And I think this year that's kind of developing for them, and they're starting to see it.
Of course, playing in the NFC East.
Least.
I mean, I don't mean to, put a damper on the Eagles season so far, but they are a surprise, Captain.
They do play in the least, and the fact that Dak Prescott got injured in the first game has helped. But yeah, the Eagles will probably, barring injury, the Eagles will run away and hide with that division, and we should have a decent number come playoff time, providing that all goes as planned and there's no surprise injuries.
Well, of course, my surprise team is Jacksonville and Doug Peterson, who the Eagles fans also had dead, buried, and stinking. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He was a bum. He didn't know how to work with Hurts. He didn't know his defense fell apart. Everything fell apart up there in Philadelphia. And they were calling him everything but a child of God when they ran him out of there. And, the Eagles don't know it, but they're seriously a dysfunctional organization. Jeff Lurie, I've never liked. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying Jacksonville, because last year they had fallen as far as any team, farther than the Raiders, with Urban Meyer as their coach. Should there be a rule?
Yeah!
No. Should there be a rule that a diva college coach from a large program that's been there in his program for 20 or more years should not be allowed to coach in the NFL?
You know, I would be in favor of that.
I,
It never seems to work. Ever. Never. Never,
I don't
ever.
understand. Saban, Lou Holtz,
Switzer,
Bobby
Superior-
Petrino,
Superior, and I said that correctly. Steve Superior.
Steve Superior.
Yeah, and I by the way, I do love Steve Spurrier. I do. But as a head coach in the NFL, no. No.
And Jacksonville had fallen just as far as any franchise could fall.
Mhm.
And suddenly it's like they understood. A light bulb went on. This is why Raiders fans are so frustrated. They're like, look at Jacksonville. They got a new coach too. And they were in worse shape than we were. I mean, let's face it. A lot of people had written Trevor off too. He just didn't get it. Turns out nobody was teaching him.
Yeah.
He gets an off season with Doug Peterson. And what does he look like? Looks like he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Mm.
Of course, they brought in some talent. One of our guys, Zay, is down there as well.
And Kirk, who also is making a way too much money, but they had to pay these guys because first off, you know why the St. John's River flows north?
Uh-huh.
Because both Georgia and Jacksonville suck.
Oh, y'all are right. Y'all are right. But I mean, look at what happened on defense. I didn't think the Jacksonville defense last year was too bad. I mean, they beat the Bills 9-6.
Right. And they've gotten better.
And so Jacksonville to me is the surprise team of the year so far because they have come so far. They have really, really come so far. Now I want to switch it up. Besides the Raiders, the team that has you scratching your head the most. What happened?
Ooh.
Captain, I'm going to
come back to me because I haven't really been paying attention. I'm honest about this. I've gone to all these games and I do my work. I haven't really been paying attention to who sucks as bad as we do.
Well, I'm going to start it off and I'm going to talk about the Indy Colts, who, by the way, beat our nemesis Sunday.
Right.
But before then, Frank Reich is one of my favorite coaches, but I swear to God, all I could say about the Colts was underperforming. And I don't care what anybody says. I think they have a good quarterback in Matt Ryan. I really do. And if anybody can, the quarterback whisperer, Frank Reich, if anybody can make a quarterback look good, it's Frank. But I'm telling you, that team is really frustrating the way. Did you see the way they just faded last year down the stretch? I mean, they lost to Jacksonville down the stretch, and they lost to Jacksonville again.
Well, they've lost to Jacksonville the last 6 times they've been there.
I mean, come on now. I know it's a division game, but there was no way the Jacksonville team last year was in shape to beat anybody. Oh, but they did it to the Colts, the last game of the season. So, even though they managed to muster a win against Kansas City, barely, I still am very disappointed. That team is much more talented. Now we go to you, Heidi. Did you have enough time to think about the team that's kind of disappointed you? You thought they were much better.
Well, I'm not sure if I would say they're not much better, but I would say it's the team with the Super Bowl hangover. The Bengals.
Yes. Now I thought we laid eggs, but the Bengals, yeah.
I mean, they finally pulled in a win against the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
You're kind of supposed to win that game.
Uh-huh. But you're right. The Bengals have definitely been underperforming. I don't even know what's going on over there. Like you said, the Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's something like that.
Yeah. They've been kind of disappointing. Now, Captain, you've had enough time to think about the team.
No, I cheated. I actually looked at the standings,
Go ahead.
and honestly, there is no team that is at the bottom of the division that surprises me. So I have to say that based upon looking at the standings, that maybe would be the Bengals, but the fact that the Pats are 1-2 is kind of surprising as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give
upon
you that.
based
give you
upon the
that.
standings, okay, the most disappointing is us. Is us.
Right.
Even the fact that the Chargers are 1-2 is a little bit surprising too.
It is.
Yeah.
They all the talking heads projected the chart. A lot of them projected the Chargers to win the AFC West.
Yeah. So I'd have to go with Chargers, Colts, yes, but the Pats, because the rest of the teams that are sucking were supposed to be sucking.
He said it's supposed to. Now, I tell you a team that I just like to walk up and slap in the face. That's the Minnesota Vikings. Somebody needs to be slapped. I don't know who, but I believe that these guys are never, ever, ever going to perform up to their talent level. They're not going to give it to us.
But they're 2-1. You like that? You like that?
Listen,
you like that, Peggy, especially the Washington reference.
Did they not just lose to the Bears? Yeah.
I
looked at them. I said,
I thought they pulled that out.
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong.
Well, they're 2-1.
They're 2-1.
Yeah.
They should be the top. And I'll tell you another team in that NFC North that surprised me. Excuse me. In the AFC North that I'm surprised nobody talked about is Pittsburgh Steelers. Right?
Well, I thought that they were going to be better with Trubisky, and they're 1-2, but they could be 2-1. And I think that Trubisky is holding the place for Pickett, and Pickett will eventually be that starting quarterback because of obviously his pedigree, his heritage, the fact that he's from Pittsburgh area. Mm-hmm. Trubisky's holding the area. The fact that they're 1-2, I really think they should be 2-1 though. I really think they should be 2-1.
Ask a Pittsburgh fan, and all they'll talk about is Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator.
Well, of course, your coordinator is going to suck if he's from Canada.
But I really, he was coordinator last year too. He couldn't make Roethlisberger. He couldn't make that offense go for nothing. And now we get to this year. He's got Trubisky. And once again, just dull, unimaginative play calling. Why am I so familiar with that? I know what that looks like. I would have thought you would have talked about the Steelers, and that's what we're into. But swinging back to the Raiders, we want to all talk about. We want to start talking about Carr for a little bit. I don't think we can get out of these 2 hours without talking about your assessment of Carr's performance. This first 3 games.
First 3 games? Are we grading him?
You can.
I mean, I'll give him a D+. I mean, he has been so lost. His first game that was an F. That was an absolute F.
Yeah. I'm really confused. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and it's obvious that it's not clicking with McDaniels for him.
No.
Now, he has never been that elite quarterback. He never will be that elite quarterback, but he is capable of winning.
Yes.
And normally, if you give him the ball behind in the fourth quarter with a chance to win, he's going to give you that chance to win. Now, we saw a little bit of that in the Titans game.
Yes, we did.
He was able to drive down. He was able to get that touchdown. But how many of us really thought that we would convert on that 2-point conversion?
Not many.
I mean, did anyone believe that?
I didn't.
Nobody believed. Nobody believed the Raiders would do it.
Why? But why?
Yeah.
We should have a little more faith. To me, I knew the play calling was going to suck.
Can I jump on that?
Go for it. You go for it.
Point. Was there any doubt in anybody's mind that the call was going to be going to Waller?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is it me now? I will take, and I'm gonna break my arm, or I'm gonna break my arm, patting myself on the back. I actually called 3 straight plays in a row for the Titans. When I'm looking at their offense, I said slant, receiver, and it was a slant. Then I saw the way that their line was, so I said stretch run to Henry to the left. The next play was stretch run to Henry to the left. And
exactly. I did the same thing. I started doing the same thing.
And I can't remember what the third one was, but I actually called it. And the people behind me was like, Jesus Christ, Captain, you need to be up there playing on for the defensive coordinator. I said, because I saw it. And if I saw it, you would think that the Raiders defense would have seen it. But I digress. Anyway.
I mean, we're talking about Carr's performance the first 3 games of the season.
But when you knew that it was going to go to Waller on the 2-point conversion, and you saw that he was triple covered. He had a guy in front of him.
But you still
he was bracketed on the end, and he had the safety coming over. That's 3 guys. 3 guys. And if there's 3 guys on Waller, and I didn't see, like I said, Peggy, I have yet to see any.
You have to see the INT. You got to see the INT.
Well,
terrible play design.
If the 3 guys on Waller, I'm hoping that there's somebody open in the flats on that play. I didn't see it. Somebody was saying that Jacob Johnson was open for the 2-point conversion. I don't know. I'll take their word for it. But if I knew that Darren Waller was going to get the ball, and I'm pushing 60, and sometimes I have CRS disease, can't remember, as well. But if I knew it was going to come to him, would you think that maybe if you're that master play caller, that maybe you would throw it to somebody that you wouldn't expect to get the ball? So that,
or maybe
you have a 2-wide banana.
Maybe you'd have more plays designed for the red zone, seeing that's been the Raiders and Carr's major problem for the last 7 years, 8 years. Maybe you'd have a play design that floods the coverage so that they make those linebackers, safeties, and corners pick and choose who they're going to go off with. I mean, plus the play has to come off in less than 5 seconds. Carr in the red zone holds the ball too long, and I have noticed this. This time I've been watching it like a laser. He holds the ball way too long.
He holds the ball way too long. Period. It's not just in the red zone. There are a lot of sacks where the defense gets him. And the reason they're getting him is because of Carr.
And I'm not understanding, Heidi, is that indecisiveness? Is that what Captain alluded to? Oh, the coach called the play to Waller, so if 5 guys are on him, I still try to force it into Waller because I don't know how to think outside the box. What are we looking at? What do you think, Heidi?
I think Carr's questioning himself.
And he does that. He's terrible on himself.
No. If you're gonna say that word, you got to do it like Barkley. That's terrible. That's
terrible.
Terrible. That's
right. You got to take some syllables out of terrible.
That play was terrible.
Sharif has a point. Sharif has a point. He has more weapons than any quarterback and 0 wins.
And of course, you can't. Carr is not drawing up the plays he's not drawing up, practicing the plays, and he's not making the play call in certain situations. He's got to have a coach that can assess those things for him. Carr is not going to be a Dan Fouts calling his own plays. It's not going to happen. They don't teach these kids how to do that anymore, right? I mean, Captain,
Well, let me ask the question, because this is the elephant in the room, other than the one that's sitting in this chair. Okay, people are saying, and I know Sharif is saying this, I know Bishop is saying this, because I actually listen when they actually call into the shows. Okay, when are you going to pull the bastard and let you see what you got with Stidham, who actually knows the playbook? Because that's what people are going to say. And I want to see it happen for a couple reasons. A, I want to see what happens. And B, if Stidham falls flat on his face, then it's a definitive endorsement of it's McDaniels and not the quarterback.
You hear how upset my dog is?
Yes.
Did you
my
hear
dog
that?
Is very, my dog. I don't even have a dog, and he's upset. Okay, go ahead.
I think if the Raiders lose against the Chargers, I wouldn't be surprised if Stidham was out there for the Chiefs game.
Well, that says zero about Ziegler or McDaniel's ability to not only, make plans for the future of this organization. I lose total confidence in both of them. They make that kind of move.
I've already lost that confidence in them.
But you said this was the quarterback you wanted. And somebody just said McDaniels loves Carr and his ability. Bishop said it. This was the guy you said you wanted. Mark goes out and pays him $40 million a year. And then you're going to bench him in 5 games?
Yeah, but
And
remember,
they gave him a contract.
Have you really lost your mind? Are you that desperate?
They gave him a team-friendly contract that the team can get out of at any point.
But it ain't going to be after game 5.
It's a 1-year deal, though. And that's what I'm saying. It's a 1-year deal.
But the 1 year hasn't transpired yet. You gonna sit a $40 million quarterback for a guy named Stidham? Really? Who's only practiced with second and third teamers?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me.
Now we're Ohio State or Florida. We have system quarterbacks, ones that do as they're told. Right?
Well, I was going to say that system quarterback for that person whose name I won't mention because I'm going to throw up again in my garbage can, won 2 national championships with.
I understand. And what did he do when he got to the NFL?
That's not what I'm saying. He's a college coach that I throw up over, not a NFL.
But do you understand what I'm saying? You have just invalidated my confidence in your ability to determine the future of this franchise. You can't even decide. You're not even going to take the time. Oh, Carr can't learn my system. Sit him down. Does that make
I'm just saying that McDaniels is the type of coach where it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll be out of desperation because he's trying to save his job.
And I could see him doing it because of that. And
let's just face it. We got some shady stuff in McDaniel's background, do we not? The ball, what was that? In Deflate Gate? Don't tell me McDaniel's didn't know nothing about them balls being different.
I was going to say, because somebody was saying that Carr holds on to his balls too long, and I'm like, please, man.
I know. The picture, we're allowed to say that. I mean, just the picture of, him bending over and clutching. I'm just saying, Carr does hold the ball too long. But
that's a better way. That's a better way to say it.
But in the red zone, it's fatal.
Yeah. Well, you know why they call it a red zone, right? Because that's the Raiders stop.
Sarah is right. The one thing I noticed about Stidham during the preseason, he holds the ball way too long, too.
Yeah. But see, that's why it's called the red zone for the Raiders, because they get to the 20 and they stop.
It's a stop sign. I mean, they stop knowing how to execute. They stop learning how to block. They start committing penalties. 2 false start penalties when we were inside the 5. What is going on with this team? What
did Illuminor have
in the head?
Did Illuminor have both of those calls?
It doesn't even matter who it was. In my mind, it was a false start. It put us back 5 yards, changed the play call, changed the momentum, everything.
Colton Miller even had a false start.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Hey,
What?
I will. You know what? I'm going to blow your mind.
Go ahead.
I'm going to actually say something positive that
About
I
Derek.
saw. No, not about Derek. About
because that's what we were talking about. Really,
well, only because we were talking about offensive linemen. Thayer Munford at right tackle played the entire game.
Exactly. I was going to talk about Munford. Go ahead.
And I see a stalwart bookend. The teaming with Miller, I think we have found our bookends for tackle for a while. And at least
I like the rookie. I like him.
At least we got that going, because remember, Miller was a little edgy his first year, and then he jumped, and he is a Pro Bowl consideration at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Thayer Munford is going to be that stalwart right tackle that we have. If you figure out where Parham's going to be, is he going to be the center, which I think he will be eventually, then you still need to figure out the two guards, but at least you got 3/5 of your line figured out in the future by the end of the year.
I get that. I don't know whether Carr gonna survive the season with them guards being what they call turnstiles. New York turnstiles. When it comes to passing plays, neither one of them can pass block still for crap. And I don't understand. I mean, they are actually, Captain, you got to watch the film. Heidi, I don't know whether you saw how many times offensive linemen were actually pushed into Carr. Carr had to actually step back, and this is another thing about way McDaniels envisions the game. You've got a situation where you got guards that can't pass block. Why aren't you rolling that pocket? Why aren't you rolling Carr out, buying him some more time?
That's one thing that we were talking about when we were watching the game. When he rolls to his right, he's deadly.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing that all the time?
Yeah.
Because
or at least doing it enough to keep the line, at least doing it enough to keep the defensive line honest.
I mean, your O-line ain't good for about 5 seconds and then it's all over. It's a jailbreak, especially at the guard positions. Now, why in the world? And heaven help us if they blitz. Although, Captain, they did pick up a couple of blitzes.
I was going to say that
nicely.
Yeah, I was going to say that the offensive line this game. Thank you. I knew it was a this something. This game played better than the previous 2 iterations, and I firmly believe it was because that they made that change at guard. Okay, and Illuminor played better on the running plays.
At least Simpson is gone.
Yeah, Simpson. Simpson. There's a joke that I won't say because it's really, really bad about Simpson getting pushed back, but I won't say it. But yeah, John Simpson, and I've been like, man, what in the foxtrot is going on there? So it's like I knew that Parham was going to take somebody's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton getting booted. I don't know whether it was because
it was another one that I saw in the backfield all the time.
Why
are you back there with your quarterback? Why are you getting pushed, driven back that far?
Well, if they thought it was Cotton playing extra running back or fullback, he figured he had to line up back up there next to Cotton.
just in case Carr fumbled the ball or something. I know.
Yeah. Oh, Matt, I like this from Matthew 7200. Simpson got sent back to Springfield.
Heidi, I hate to talk about Simpson like that, but Lord have mercy. I said, y'all was so busy cheering because Leatherwood was gone. You forgot about the bum on the other side.
Well, the funny thing is that I think Bars had one of the highest rated players in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that he's playing because he played well. Granted, I know he's playing, 2s against 2s or 3s against 3s, but you play who you play against. And I saw that he was playing pretty well. So I think he might be sticking it out. If you get James coming back at center, then you put Parham back at right guard. I think that line might play a lot better, and eventually, maybe you won't be getting, pushback, and maybe you'll get the running. Remember, Jacobs was averaging 5'1". The other cat was averaging 5'7". If you continue to, here's a thought, continue to run the effing ball, and then you have the run that sets up the pass, maybe you might score a little bit more, Josh. Do you need me to come out and help you with that? I know I'm a little older than you, shipmate, but if you give me a flight, I will sit down with you and in captain speak, figure it out with you. Okay.
That transitions me, Captain, into Heidi, and I wanted to ask you first because you talked about it earlier, and I kind of said we were going to talk about it. You talked about the fact that he keeps abandoning the running game. 3 straight games, he abandons the running game. Why do you think we don't run the ball more? And let's take, can you look around other than McDaniels just being arbitrary? Is there any reason why we abandon the running game?
I can't.
Being behind.
I can't. I would say we were behind in the Titans game. I would say that, but the Cardinals, we abandoned it for absolutely no reason. I mean,
is there any?
I don't know. The cult
going on.
The coaches trying to be cute, thinking they know better. I don't know. Ask Mike Shanahan why he abandoned the running game in the Super Bowl.
And Captain, can you give me a logical? Maybe there was something going on in the game. Did somebody get hurt? I have 2 theories, but I want to hear you guys take on this mysterious abandonment of the running game.
I think that we need to go back and figure out where Leonard Nimoy is buried, okay, and dig up Leonard
and do a mind meld.
No, not even the mind meld. What was the mystery show that he did?
I forgot the name of it, but
whatever the hell the name of that was. In search of the reason why McDaniels has forgotten how to use the running game.
I don't know why. And especially when he kept 5 running backs.
What are your theories, Peggy?
I'm
interested to
hear.
Theory
number one. I definitely think it's related to the ability of the offensive line. And I'm going to call his name out again because I got a voodoo doll here that I'm going to be sticking with pins. His name is Carmen Brasillo, our O-line coach. I think it has a lot to do with what Brasillo must be telling him about the ability of the O-line to block. The second theory I have is about another one of y'all's heroes that I'm going to wish to debunk, and that's Josh Jacobs. His running style requires a lot of trap blocking, a lot of flat, pushing the line aside. He doesn't see the cutback lane.
But you know who does?
Who?
Zeus White.
Well, I didn't even see Zeus. I see
who's
Brandon
gotten one
Bolden.
carry this year. He's gotten one carry this year.
I see Brandon Bolden. This is another beef I have with McDaniels. Josh Jacobs, 3 years and counting. I have yet to see a 50-yard touchdown from scrimmage. I have simply yet to see that man be the home run hitter that the Raiders offense desperately needs. But this is another reason why I think the run game gets abandoned. There's no confidence in it. Okay? I believe that when you don't have that Derrick Henry, that guy, not as good as Henry, but the guy that from scrimmage, 50 yards, by Anna, be safe. And when you don't have that guy in your backfield, you see all kinds of things happening. No one fears Josh Jacobs running the ball. Okay? No one fears he's going to break loose and run 30 yards down the field unchecked. What does that mean? That means play action. What play action? Derek has to carry the entire passing game on his shoulders. He's not going to get any help from our threat of running, and then more particularly our threat of breaking a run 20, 30, 40 yards. It'll never happen with Josh Jacobs. We need a home run hitter. I don't know why he won't play Zeus. Another beef I have against McDaniels. Heidi, what do you think about my two theories? I mean, there's stretches, but I mean, the move itself to abandon the running game is so mystifying to begin with. What do you think?
I don't know. Carmen Brasillo has not been one of my favorite coaches this season.
He's got to be better than Tom Cable, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know that either. What evidence do I have of that? I mean,
I have yet to see that evidence.
I'm waiting.
I don't know. It is possible that he is feeding Josh McDaniels some line about the offensive line being unable to block for them. But I mean, Josh McDaniels, use your brain. Look to see, what are these guys averaging? 5.1 yards a carry, 5.7 yards a carry. Why aren't you using them? He has running backs that can do it. Why he's refusing to use them, I don't know.
If I only had a brain.
Seriously.
I mean, in the end, I think he was rewarded. The Wizard of Oz did reward him with the brain, but he had to make that trip to Oz, right? But Captain, I mean, my theories, I mean, and I hate to talk exactly, Bishop. Why would you keep 5 running backs and then don't use them?
And he won't use the fullback either.
I know. Why?
I mean, first they get rid of Alec Ingold.
Exactly.
To begin with, which was, asinine. That is not a curse word. That was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're talking about 9 asses. I get it. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. But first you get rid of him, then you do bring in a fullback, you don't use them, and you keep 5 running backs and you don't use them. It makes no sense. I mean that
head scratch.
The offense would have been. Exactly, Andrew.
I mean, if there was this keeps me going back to my expectations of McDaniel, which were sky high, justifiably so, and so for Mark must have been justifiably so too. I want to know, Heidi. I mean, but my second theory is about the runner himself. If you're going to decide that you're going to give the majority of carries to a guy that's never going to bust a big run, never ever, hasn't done it yet, 3 years and counting.
But he does bust the 18-yard runs. He does bust the 22-yard runs. He does.
I'd like him to make more trips to the end zone.
And I think they would have gone with him. I think they would have gone with him down in the red zone had there not been those false start penalties. But instead of being on the 1-yard line, all of a sudden they were on the 6-yard line. Instead of being on the 1-yard line, all of a sudden they were back at the 30-yard line because of holding. I think they would have gone with them. I want to give McDaniels that much credit.
I think there's some politics going on here too. And see, my little nickname for Josh is teacher's pet. You see, why does he have to get all the carries? I did see the carries split. We had Brandon Bolden. I think Bolden had, if I'm not mistaken, about 5 carries for 18 yards. But again, Zeus, why did you keep him? What,
Captain? I got a theory on that one, and it's based upon knowledge of the way that the Cheatriots have with their draft picks. Okay, Zeus is on.
They redshirt him.
They redshirt him, and I told people this from jump. I said,
"That's so cute."
Don't expect to see a lot of Zeus White.
We see you, Matthew.
Pending developments. Pending developments or pending so many injuries that you are force-fed to use Zeus White. He's on a redshirt year. And that's the way that they did the same thing with Sony Michel. They did the same thing with the other running backs. Basically, their first year is on a red shirt, and then they start using them their second year.
Okay, looking back at the Titans game, Brandon Bolden got 3 carries.
3 carries.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr had 2, which are not planned.
Yeah.
And Devontae Adams had 1. What is it with the trick plays?
I mean, you call those trick plays? I mean, a 5th grader could design a better play than Carr passes it to Hollins. Hollins throws it to Jacobs. I mean, what? Was that supposed to throw the Tennessee defense off? That is the purpose of a trick. Wait a minute. That is the purpose of a trick play, right?
It's supposed to.
The defense off balance. I mean, am I wrong? Was that the purpose of a trick play? You could have done a flea flicker and used up less real estate. What about the flea flicker? What about the screen? Jesus Christ. I mean, what about
Where have the screens been?
Yeah, they used them in the preseason. I actually saw a couple in the preseason. I was amazed. I have yet to see one in the regular season.
This is what's baffling me about McDaniels. I don't understand his mind, and neither do the players. I mean, I'm not the only one. The players are baffled too. I do not understand why. I know. The fake Matthew, you're too funny. The fake Mariota plays were even better than the Cracker Jack. Yeah,
they were.
But Matthew, it starts with a guy like Mariota being an actual threat.
Yeah.
You see, it's not. When I talk to some people about football, they don't get it. Oh, Derrick Henry's this great running back. Yeah, but the real use of a Derrick Henry is the threat of him busting loose for an 80-yard run for a touchdown. That's sufficient to freeze the linebackers and safeties. It's sufficient. At least the strong safety is going to be frozen. Because they're not going to know, oh my God, is Henry getting the ball? I need to be here in a line of scrimmage. That's his value. I mean, that's what makes him gold. We don't have a runner like that. Josh Jacobs, no one will ever be afraid of him busting loose for an 80-yard run. Never. And I think that that's what we don't have. And I think that that corresponds to McDaniel starts to think, what's the value of continuing a running game that's only going to get me 3, 4, maybe 5 yards of crap? Is it going to open up the passing game? Nope. I mean, think about it, Captain. Just the logic of it, football strategy-wise. Is it going to open up the passing game? The answer is no.
What?
Josh?
The running play?
Yeah, just giving the ball to Josh.
No, not just to Josh. I would say that, here's such a thing, like, and I don't know why. Remember in the preseason, we actually saw end arounds.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw that. We saw screen passes.
Yes.
We even saw a flea flicker.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Screen passes are part of the running game.
Okay. But it's a matter of using things that it's like amazing. Well, he's not going to show a lot of stuff on film because then but he showed more things in the preseason on film that I've yet to see in the regular season. And I want to see some more of that. I want to see, something that's novel, something that would take your breath away,
But it goes back to Heidi.
But
Heidi said.
Well, and if you're going to use the running game effectively, you know what? Zeus White doesn't need to be redshirted. He's ready to go. He's ready to go.
It still goes back to what Heidi said. McDaniels doesn't trust the players.
Well, if they don't trust the players, that's why that he's having this closed door meeting with Davis, because the Davis hears from the players how much of an a-hole he is then.
Something's gotta give that McDaniels, like Heidi, he just outlined it. You did see what Captain said he saw. Screens. You saw flea flicker. You saw a few trick plays, all designed to keep the defense, right, on their back foot
Keep
or
them honest.
uncertain. Keep them honest. You see none of that. No help for Carr in that passing game. He doesn't even get the benefit of play action because you took the running game away from him. He's had to carry the entire offense, the second quarter of at least the Cardinal, and to a certain extent the San Diego game too. The Chargeless game as well. I mean, he and Raider Man, we talked about it earlier in the show. We don't see buy-in, and
We don't see buy-in from the players, and we don't see buy-in from the coaches to either side. That's like what Violator said. There's no chemistry between the coaches and the players.
Wow, that ain't good. Now, you guys, Bishop, Matthew, can help me out. You know, I don't think that's good. Does Carr audible?
Sometimes he audibles into the wrong play.
But he was doing that anyway when Gruden was here.
Yeah, he audibled from that running play to the pass that
Renfro
fumbled, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, he audibled into that.
But
it was a good pass. It was just
I mean, Renfro gets hit, such that he loses consciousness. So I don't know about that. And Andrew, you asked the question, who do you believe needs a breakout season? Heidi, who do we need to step up right now?
Not the obvious. Well, I honestly, you need the defensive line to step up. It's the obvious. It has to be. I mean, you take the offensive line, the defensive line, offensive unit off the board. I mean, what that leaves? What, the defensive backfield? No, the defensive line needs to step up.
Correct. And Captain, didn't they teach you in the service never volunteer? You stood up.
It's Navy. Never volunteer yourself. And I got about 2 minutes, so I got to be out for another show, ladies.
Sure. So give me your choice. Who do you think has to step up to change this thing around?
I'm going to say right now the defensive line. Mm-hmm. That's and the offensive line needs to gel and get the right 5 players in there and friggin' use them.
And I know it starts with trenches, and we're going to end this. My pick, I need to see Adams and Waller be the guys we know they can be. Okay?
You go.
Thanks,
for it.
Andrew. We're just about done tonight, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone, check out the newest episode of the Only Nation podcast. That's going to be out tomorrow morning. You can hear my thoughts. You can hear T3's thoughts. Mm-hmm. And then we will be back in 2 weeks with Silver and Black Ladies Night, led by Captain Jack Rackham.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody out there. Great conversation on the thread.
There you go. Yeah, Vega, that guy needs to step up too. And thanks again for watching. The ladies, thank you. Join me here in about a minute on the same channel. It'll be NFL Nation Live special show because we can't do it tomorrow. 2 weeks with the ladies again. It's a Silver and Black Ladies Night. We love you. Thank you for getting us out there. Share this up. This show needs to be shared up for everybody. Ladies, thanks again. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Heidi.
Bye.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you.